Tell me why you have to go make things so complicated. I see the way you're acting like you're somebody else gets me frustrated. Life's like this,
Welcome to the Team Real World Radio Show on 107.3 FM.
WBRP.
My name is Maurice Velasquez,
I'm John Shirk.
and we are
Team Real World.
It is a pleasure to be with you all. It is wonderful to be here. This is the radio show where we discuss all things business, management, leadership, and team dynamics. Our slogan is real problems, real solutions.
Really fun.
I'll let you handle that one on your own. Really fun. Yeah, because you got to have fun.
That's right.
I mean, you got to, if you're going to step on everybody's toes.
Yeah, that's right.
There was a director that one time said, look, if you're going to say something hard, you better make them laugh.
Yeah.
Or they'll kill you in the lobby. Our website is www.teamrealworld.com, and our phone number is 225-772-4357. You can also find us on Facebook. Simply type in Team Real World. And today we have a really good show for you.
Yes,
guys.
we do.
So John, what are we going to talk about today?
How about if we talk about time management? What do you think? I think it's a great show topic.
I don't know.
No? Yeah.
We've talked about time management before.
Oh, team management.
No, it's okay.
Time management.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I really think that time management. I really think that's the best topic we could use today.
Okay, why?
Well, it's always relevant, and
Yeah,
we get lots of questions about it.
Yeah, okay, but I
And
mean, but
It's
okay.
one of our most popular workshops.
Yeah, so it's just becoming so trite. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like you know.
Yeah, but man, the more we talk about it, the more strongly I feel like we really should
you
do
really
time
feel-
management today.
I was hoping I was hoping we'd do something more like problem solving.
Problem solving.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's a horrible idea.
I did. Why?
Sorry,
I mean,
I'm being too frank. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we're all about,
Yeah.
real problems, real solutions, really fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't say our slogan is real time management.
Yeah.
So I think that if we say, we're that's pretty. You got to admit that was a good one.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. All right, so how about we stop the role playing? Huh?
Okay.
I mean, if you're listening to us, hopefully you haven't tuned us out yet. I'm going to say, John, that every single one of our listeners, okay, all three of them, I'm kidding.
You know who you are.
That's right, the three of you. All of our listeners that were listening to that role play without knowing that it was role play. You felt it. They felt it.
Yep.
They felt it. Look, if you're human and you can fog a mirror, even for a slight couple seconds, you felt it. I felt it. For a minute there, I was telling John, we're role playing.
Yeah.
No, he took it seriously. So, of course, then it was time to do it the other way. So how did that feel?
Yeah, it feels a little cross.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It's interesting how. So I guess we haven't told everybody what we're going to talk about today,
yeah.
right? We are going to talk about what oftentimes is referred to. How about how to kill ideas?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
How to actually sabotage your people's interest in giving you their best ideas to help your company
yeah.
grow. There you go. That's what this radio show is all about.
Yeah. How to make sure all your frontliners keep all of the really important stuff a secret.
Yeah. How to not innovate.
Yep.
Yeah. How to make sure that nobody gives you their honest opinion.
Yep.
And make sure that every 4 months you have to do an anonymous survey on SurveyMonkey, promising everybody that you'll take their ideas seriously because you know what that CEO does. He just kills all the ideas. That's what this show's about. As a matter of fact, you could say that right there in our slogan where it says real problems, real solutions, it's that whole unspoken thing of real ideas.
Yep.
Okay. I think it wouldn't be I don't think it would be a stretch to say that good leadership and good management, okay, is whoever can foster and facilitate the most innovation possible.
Well, maybe. Yeah. That's
So you have to agree now.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. Huh?
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Think of a manager. I mean, how many times do people come up to managers? Okay. And we have a clip actually. How many times do people come up to your manager, to a manager, and then knock on the door, and they say, hey, boss, I got an idea. What's the usual response?
What is it? Tell me quick. I don't have any time. We did that last year. This will never work. Thanks for your time. Get back to work.
That's right.
Yep.
So how does that manager know that that idea that they had was the idea that would make all the difference in the world?
Right. Or if it was the seed that would really produce the great idea.
Yeah. Either way, it's in the change of innovation.
The initial idea may have been idiotic, but what's behind it is just a real problem that needs to be addressed.
Business owners, executives, CEOs, VPs, please don't tune us out right here. Listen to this part, okay? If you want your company to be innovative, you have to train your managers how to not kill ideas.
Yes.
Okay, and how to foster ideas, how to manage ideas, how to develop ideas, and then how to gently and professionally kill the bad ideas. But you notice I said that real quickly, kind of like small print at the end. You still have to do that,
Right.
because you can't do all the ideas.
Right.
Okay, so but most managers and most leaders, they tend to go to the front. They tend to put that in the front. Why? Because they've been so good at making decisions that, you know what, that one sounds like a bad idea, so I'm going to kill it now.
Yeah.
Man, there's probably nothing more destructive
Yeah.
in a company that people walking around knowing the bosses, the managers, the department heads, the team leaders, you just can't go talk to them and give them an idea.
That's right.
Right? Of course, it only happens in our company, right? Just a couple of times.
Yeah.
There's a great commercial that is out right now by Twix, okay, of this guy explaining their new invention of the little Twix Bites. And then he says something along the lines of, it's such a good idea. You'd probably wonder why we didn't think of it before. And they do a flashback to like 1970s of this guy walking into a manager's office. And he says, hey, boss. And then immediately you see what happens. Now, of course, you guys listen to the radio won't know what he's actually doing, so we'll explain it to you on the back end. But do we have that? Do we have that radio ready? All right, let's rip it. Here it is. Twix commercial on good ideas.
Introducing Twix Bites, crunchy cookie, chocolate, and caramel in a bite size. An idea so simple, you're probably asking, why didn't we think of these years ago?
Sir, I just got this great idea for Twix.
Get out! Get out of my dream. Get into my car.
Listen.
Barbara, this thing's amazing. They put Billy Ocean in a box.
Your favorite bars, bite-sized. Introducing Twix Bites.
But you need to call our Twix representative. They owe us a lot of money for that, okay? All 42 people listening to a commercial are going to go and taste those.
Yeah.
That's a hilarious commercial.
It is.
And if you watch it, go on YouTube and type in Twix idea commercial. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
The manager is he's got his new Walkman from the like early 1980s, and he's listening to his favorite artist, and he's just like jamming out on headphones, but you can't see the headphones. And he's looking out the window so that when the guy walks in and says, "Hey, boss, I have this idea," he goes, "Get out!" He's singing to himself, and so the guy leaves all despondent because he didn't hear my idea, and then the boss turns around and yells at the secretary, "Hey, they put me." That's very funny, but if it wasn't so often the case, it would be even funnier.
Well, it wouldn't be funny if it didn't happen all
That's
the
right.
time in real life.
It would not be funny if it didn't happen in real life.
Yeah.
That is so prevalent. That's right. Okay, now here's another one. Here's another clip, all right? This was from Federal Express, okay? And, of course, this is hilarious. An idea gets thrown out, huge pregnant pause, and everybody's waiting for the boss to repeat the idea, okay? All right, you ready? Okay, let's go with it.
To cut costs, people. Ideas.
We could open an account on FedEx.com, save 10% on online express shipping.
Okay, how about this? We open an account on FedEx.com. We save 10% on online express shipping.
That is wonderful. You just said the same thing I said, only you did this.
No, I did this.
Makes all the difference.
Bingo.
That's good.
Right on the nose.
It's really good.
They're arguing the fact that that one guy did his hands laterally, horizontally, but the boss did his hand vertical. So he said, and everybody's going, that made all the difference in the world. So an idea gets thrown out. Everybody stares at each other, which is the favorite response to ideas.
Yeah.
Look, you got to stick around on the back end of the commercial. We're going to show you the steps to take on how not to do that to your people.
Right. Yeah, the right way to do it.
Yeah, and but it's hilarious. Everybody's staring at him. The poor guy's like, the poor guy's like, what happened to my idea? And everybody's just staring at it. And sure enough, the boss kind of realizes this is actually not a bad idea. I'm going to steal it from him. Okay. And again, go type it in on YouTube, you know. I think it's FedEx idea commercial.
Yeah.
You know, and then he does his hand, and you can see everybody kind of like look at each other. Okay, here's our out.
Yeah.
We like that idea better. It's hilarious. But again, if it wasn't because it's picking truth, it's making fun of real life, it wouldn't be so funny.
Right.
So if you're frustrated that your company or your organization is killing your ideas, well, you just can't get what you want. That was extraordinarily good timing, Dan. That's the number one reason why people quit companies, John.
Oh, yeah?
Because my opinion is not respected.
Nobody listens to me.
So come on back after the radio show and let's talk about it. Let's dissect it. And we have in the studio with us the late, great Steve Jobs to help us dissect this. I forgot what I'm supposed to say now. You've been listening to Talk 107.3 FM. Give your world.
WBRP.
Welcome back to Team Real World on Talk 107.3 FM.
WBRP.
All right, we're talking about ideas and how to effectively kill them. And how not to.
And how not to.
Actually,
That's
let's
right.
talk a little bit about how to kill them.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how to do that.
Yep.
So here's a good and easy way for you to kill an idea, okay? Just stare back like for 7 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, hey, John, why don't tomorrow's radio show, let's do something on time management.
Yeah. They can't see me staring in silence at you, Mo, but that's what I'm doing right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Oh, he really is, and he's terrible at it. And look, I can tell when John doesn't like an idea when he stares at me like for 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he would say the same that what I do. I smile while I roll my eyes around the building, around the room, trying to find a way to graciously kill the idea. And so it's obvious we do such a lousy job of fostering ideas. we do. But let's talk a little bit, just for a few minutes. Let's keep the thought going of how people kill ideas. Some people just right out say, no, it's not a good idea.
Right.
Others, they'll stare, you know, and then others will say something like, yeah, and then as you can tell that, you know, there's no sincerity.
There's an interesting little clinic in all of that in studying how people say the word no or do it without saying it. Some people just say no,
right,
bad idea or whatever. Others will just say, wow, that's a great idea. But then with their hands and feet,
I know
they say, no, it's not.
Look, let me just give you, if all of a sudden you realize, oh man, I can't sit here for 40 minutes and listen to the whole radio show. Okay, you ready? Become a reporter. That's how you foster ideas. Somebody comes up to you in the middle, interrupts you. Hey, I want to throw an idea. Become a reporter. Okay, tell me about it.
Yep.
So what do you want to? So what you're saying this? You want to do this? Okay. So I see. So what you're saying is this, and you're saying that, and you ask a lot of clarifying questions. Well, great. All right. You know, that it is a phenomenal skill.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
And nobody needs that more than managers.
Would you say, Mo, that there's there may be more than three, but there are at least three kinds of people when it comes to ideas. There's at least one kind of person who seems
the mean jerk, and then the really belligerent mean jerk.
Well, what I was going to say is the creative genius who generates the idea, who might also be a jerk, but he's that creative person.
That's right.
And then there's at least one other kind of person who wants to give a big thumbs up to every single idea.
Right.
And there's another person who wants to fold their arms and have a furrowed brow and be skeptical of every idea.
Yeah, there's actually a fourth player in this, and I like the way you're saying it. Think of players in a show, in a drama, or characters. In a movie, in a show. There are four players, but let's call them moods.
Okay.
Or moments.
Sure. Okay.
Because we normally, when it comes to the ideas, we all tend to switch. See, when we're buying something, we tend to act a certain way, but then when we're selling, we tend to be a different way. It all depends. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so it's the same thing. It's when we throw out ideas, we want others to behave a certain way, but whenever people throw ideas at us, we tend to misbehave and do the same thing to them. So yeah, let's go over real quickly the four moods or personalities. Let's not say personalities. The four approaches.
Sure.
The four approaches. One is the creative one.
That's right.
It's the person who's always thinking of ideas.
And if they're, left unchecked, even when the idea has been agreed upon and the whole group could be getting ready to go, they're still coming up with more ideas.
And boy, that they get themselves in a lot of trouble because they'll throw an idea out at a meeting and everybody likes it.
Yep.
And they really sincerely, honestly like it.
Yep.
And then it keeps selling themselves into a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what else we could do? It's kind of like the guy who doesn't know when to tell the last joke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like George Costanza. Whenever they tell him, look, when you are in a meeting and you say something great, just shut up and say, I'm out of here, and then walk out on a high. So that's what he did. Every time that somebody laughed at one of his jokes or said something good about his idea, he just said, that's it. I'm here till Tuesday, and he'd walk out because he would always go on, kind of like what I'm doing right now, repeating myself over and over again. You know? Okay. So there's the creative person, and we'll dissect these as we talk through the show. But that's the first person.
Right.
The second person is the one that they never hear a bad idea.
That's right. They're thumbs up all over the place. All the time.
Over the place.
Yep.
And they're always agreeing with everybody.
Yep.
And they'll talk to person A in the middle of a meeting. They'll say, that's a good point. Then they'll talk to somebody else at another meeting about the same issue. And they'll go, that's a good point.
You know what's hilarious about this, too, is that they'll give a big thumbs up to the opposite notion, depending on who's in the room at the time. Sometimes.
And they'll get caught themselves in the hallway between bullets.
Yes,
because they'll step into a meeting and start siding with one side. Forgot.
That's right.
But yes, through the hallway in the cafeteria, they said the opposite to the other person. They catch themselves in a lie, or they catch themselves contradicting each other.
Sure.
So the advancer, the person that likes to advance a lot, is caught always being. What would you say? Without much judgment, he's just constantly agreeing. Then on the opposite extreme, you have the person that's more of a refiner.
Right.
That there is no good idea.
Exactly.
That they're always suspect of the idea.
Right.
And the more excitement that comes with the idea, the more suspect you ought to be.
It's almost like a spring-loaded thing. The more excitement comes to tighten up the spring at one end, the more they feel the need to push
because
back.
they pretty much know that in order for you to sell it, you're giving me excitement. Therefore, you're really not looking into the data, so I'm going to say no.
Right.
And then you have those folks that are just the executors. They high risk individuals or a high risk approach. They hear an idea and they say, yes, let's go ahead and do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the four styles and that's what we're going to discuss on how to use those and how to understand those in your decision making process. But let's talk for a moment, just real quickly, about the importance of ideas. Okay.
Yes.
We have a clip here that's of yet another commercial of a university that connects the thoughts of regular individuals with folks who are geniuses or become great artists in history. So let's go ahead and play that the one called The Value of Ideas, okay? Play it again, Sam.
What do over 30 Tony Award winners have in common with pioneers in engineering and science? What do iconic artists have in common with thousands of innovative entrepreneurs? What do 19 Nobel Prize winners, driverless cars, and founders of artificial intelligence have to do with Juicy Couture? Their ideas all started at Carnegie Mellon University. Ideas that shape your world start here.
I mean, let that pump you up, managers out there. Rewind this if you're listening to it on our website. Let it be known in your company when they're asked, man, how is it that your department is growing? You can say, because the many ideas that we foster and implement into great solutions, they have their beginning in my conference room.
Woo.
Man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm the kind of manager and that I have people they know that they can come and bring their ideas to that conference room, and we will foster that because we don't know when there is a Michelangelo idea.
Yeah,
when there is a font idea, that one font that just turns all. And so here, Dan, do we have time to play about a 2-minute video with Steve Jobs? All right, so let's listen to Steve Jobs, okay? And of course, you guys know I'm a great Steve Jobs fan, so I'm standing up and I'm saluting, right? He was being interviewed about how does he manage people, and he's asked 2 questions, okay? And this is the first question is this: so what is it that you do throughout the day to gather innovation through your company? And then the second question is but are you people willing to tell you that you're wrong?
Yeah.
And listen to what he says. All right, go ahead, Dan. Let's play that.
All together into a product. We do that really well. And so what I do all day is meet with teams of people and work on ideas and solve problems to make new products, to make new marketing programs, whatever it is.
And are people willing to tell you you're wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, other than snarky journalists. I mean, people that work for you.
No, we have wonderful arguments.
And do you win them all, or?
Oh, no, I wish I did. No, see, you can't. If you want to hire great people and have them stay working for you, you have to let them make a lot of decisions, and you have to be run by ideas, not hierarchy. The best ideas have to win.
So-
Otherwise, good people don't stay.
But you must be more than a facilitator who runs meetings. You obviously contribute your own ideas.
I contribute ideas, sure. Well, why would I be there if I didn't?
I mean, wow! Every time I listen to that to that clip, John, I just get goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, Steve Jobs was known as a real hard individual. I mean, extremely difficult to work with because he was so intense about everything.
Very demanding.
Very
Yeah.
demanding. Very demanding. And he always spoke his opinion.
Yep.
Okay. But one of his strongest opinions was don't speak your opinion too fast at a meeting. Okay. Now, if he caught you in the elevator and you could have a good debate with him, that's what he wanted to have.
Right.
But at a meeting, what he wanted to see was the managers, the hierarchies within the organization to not use their hierarchy to and do what otherwise? To facilitate extraordinarily good meetings where ideas governed the moment rather than, well, let's just wait and see what the boss is going to say.
Right. That's what it means for, there's always ideas in an organization, but they're run by hierarchy. If it just matters if it's the boss's idea.
Oh, yeah. And it is so difficult. It's so difficult to hire people and train them on that because, I don't know, very few employees out there, very few candidates looking for jobs, and even owners out there, very few of them come into new companies without the attitude of just tell me what to do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's not the way it's supposed to work.
Yep.
Okay, so when we come back on the back end on this third segment, we are going to get much more granular into the do's and don'ts, the how-tos, the traps of how to not kill so many ideas. All right, you're still listening to Team Real World on Talk 107.3 FM.
WBRP.
We'll be right back.
You say yes, I say no. You say stop, but I say go, go, go.
Welcome back to Team Real World. You're listening to Talk 107.3 FM.
WBRP.
This is the show where we talk about a lot of things. And we kill them really fast. So call us on the 1-800 number. And when you give us your best idea, we'll quickly tell you why it doesn't work. Actually, look, I don't mean to shoot down my colleagues, but if you realize that's what most of talk radio is.
Yeah, that's true.
Tell me, Sue, what do you think? Well, I think the war in Afghanistan. No, you're crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, because that sells soap.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, a good talk radio show, they'll pitch 2-3 people. If you
Sure.
notice, that's what's gotten us into trouble in our civil, in our national civil politics and everything. I mean, people on Facebook, it's so hard to have a decent conversation. I mean, you can't say one word and boom, they'll just, and it's like nobody asks one single clarifying question other than, are you that stupid? Which is not a real clarifying question. That's a very loaded question.
Right.
So, that's what ideas are all about. It's so important. You just never know. Guys, you just never know when you're killing an awesome idea.
Yes. So let's talk through some of these mechanics.
Sure.
When someone is in a meeting, often it can be a frontliner with a manager in a room.
It doesn't matter who it is.
Doesn't matter who it is. It could be
whether it comes from the top, side. That's right.
Wherever it comes from. Which brings me to a story that I heard from one of our clients.
You told me
this week.
earlier. Yeah, you go ahead. That's
one
good.
of our
That's
clients used to work with NASA.
Okay.
And he was with the team that, and this was his telling of the story, so I'm assuming the details of it are accurate from his telling of it. But he had an idea that they should sell advertising on the space shuttle. And when he first brought it up,
that's a terrible idea.
And this has been a long time ago now,
all right.
you know. And he brought up the idea, and at that point, his manager said, "No, terrible idea. We'll never do that.
Bad idea."
The next year, they not only sold a little bit of ad space on the space shuttle, but they didn't give this guy any credit for it. The manager
probably
took all
that
the credit.
Oh, wow. See that? Imagine the morale on that one.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean that's a good example. That's a very good example. Often I was working with a manager who was telling me that one of his team leaders needed to listen more. You know, and I said, well, actually, let's not do that. Let's not tell her she needs to listen more. And he says, no, but she does need to be a better listener. I said, well, but you're not going to get far with that. How about we teach her how not to refine other people's comments as quickly? And he did just that. He looked at me and went, what do you mean? I said, well, let's explain the difference between advancing and validating someone's thoughts and ideas or comments and someone who is constantly either refining them or stealing them.
Yeah.
And this particular gal, she didn't refine other people's ideas. You know, she didn't correct it. She just stole them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so she does come across as one who doesn't listen. But the whole thing about not listening is simply a byproduct. You know what I'm saying? But what she's really needs to work on is the difference between how to go to the right or how to go to the left. You're either going to go towards advancing and validating, or you're going to refine and steal. So let's talk a little bit about the two. And try to remind me. I have another short little story like that one. That's
Okay.
an example. So let's say that those of you that are driving, you come to a fork on the road. Okay. I don't know how many times you find a fork with only two options, but let's just say it's one of those. The corn forks. You know. Okay,
Those
we're
long
wasting
fondue
we're
forks
wasting
that-
time
Yeah,
here.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So you have two options. You can go to the right, or you can go to the left.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Left.
Correct. Who's on first? That's right. Okay. We're wasting time, man. All right. So you can either go to the right or you can go to the left. Okay. So whenever people bring to you ideas, okay, you have two options. You're either going to go to the right and you're going to advance and validate that person's thoughts.
Yep.
Or you're going to go to the left and you're going to squash, correct, refine.
Yeah.
Or you're going to steal that
Yeah.
idea.
Yep.
All right. Most people, whenever it is not their idea, they take the left approach. They refine.
Yeah.
They get analytical with that person. That's why we choose left, because it's the left brain kind of kicking in.
Sure.
Okay. So they tend to immediately find all the reasons why that idea cannot work.
Yep.
Okay. When people do it to me, one line that I tend to use is, hold on. Wait till my parade is finished. Clap for about 20 seconds, then rain on it. Okay. And the real refiners, they'll go, no, still not good. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
So those are the two options you have to choose.
Right.
In order to foster good ideas, you need to take a journey with the person over to the right-hand side of the crossroads and validate the idea and become a better listener to the idea and spend some time validating the idea. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that sounds like. And then let them know that, look, I've gone down this route with you. How about if we refine it? Okay, you don't go to execute without refining. So you first go to the right, then you take the person with you over to the left.
Yep.
And then together execute it, or at least make a decision which way you want to go.
You know, you and I have talked about this one before, but I'm a refiner for sure.
Yeah.
And you know what scares the tar out of me when ideas come up and I'm saying good idea.
Well, sure. There are people like me who are not refiners, who are constantly going, every idea is the best idea in the world. I'm going to go straight to execution.
That's right.
And I'm not going to give you time to refine anything.
That's
All
right.
now turn the boat around.
Yep.
All right, turn the table around. Why do us folks that are advancers always want to go to execute and not give you guys time to refine?
Well, because we have a very special process that goes ready, aim, 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 aim,
and the
aim.
idea will die, and the idea will take forever, and I have to listen to 50 reasons why it cannot work. And if they had just simply asked me a couple more clarifying questions or given this idea some breathing room, the seed of wowness might have come up that soil of innovation. But no, we're going to squash this little thing before it even has a chance to just perk up. Can you tell?
Squash that idea.
Can you tell that I'm not taking this personally? My entire life has been revolved around, no, wait, just give me 8 seconds.
Yeah.
A friend of mine who works with us, he says, Maurice, you know why you get so many ideas killed? Yeah. And I'm like, no, I don't. Because you have so many of them.
It's a numbers game.
That's right. So if you could just prioritize the best one per day and not hit all of us with 6 at a time, you would not get so rejected. And I know we're laughing about it, but that's a very smart approach.
Yeah.
Okay. Just realize that there are folks that are always going to, unless they learn this process. There's an official name for this, by the way. It's called the Z model, but we're kind of using the crossroads because Z model really only works when you can look at it on a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Right now, we're giving you the scenario of taking the right or taking the left.
Right.
So another way, if you look it up on Google, it's the learning model. Okay, it's often called the Z model of learning. But so the way that we apply the Z model of learning, again, go to Google and you see why it's called Z model. But again, it's because it's a learning model that allows people to learn from each other.
Right.
Okay. So we apply, John, where do we apply this Z model or this model that we're talking about?
Well, I mean, the big answer to that is everywhere.
It's kind of like Tony's.
But most formally in meetings.
In meetings, you know? Yes. But it's kind of like Tony's. You just spread it on everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we encourage everybody to do stuff like, hey, John, let me throw an idea here. Let me create an idea.
Yeah.
You let each other know that, hey, I'm about to create an idea because that's the signal.
Right.
That I'm throwing at you because
right.
we've agreed. We have rules of engagement. I'm about to create an idea. Don't you go to refine.
And once an organization has agreed to do this, it's very much like a football team going to the line of scrimmage. The quarterback puts up his right hand or his left hand or whatever, makes a signal, and everybody knows what they're supposed to do when that happens.
Exactly.
And if somebody goes the other way, that quarterback has every right to go,
What happened?
What are you doing? I called the play.
We had a play.
Exactly.
We had rules of engagement. We said we were going to go down the right-hand side, not the. I have so many managers who fight against this.
Yeah.
And they say stuff like, well, this is also artificial. I mean, what? Are we going to sit there and talk about and say things like, hey, can we refine now? And our answer is yes.
Yes. Use those words.
It's kind of like this. If I am going to attack you, it's just simply common decency to say, hey, look, can I attack your idea?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but no, we actually take each other's gloves off and start whacking each other in front of everybody.
That's right.
And then the person whose idea is getting whacked and chopped to pieces has to figure out, wait, are you playing devil's advocate? Or do you not like it? Are you trying to role play? I don't know what you're doing.
Me personally?
And then somebody else picks it and says, I'm going to join the slaughter here.
Yeah.
And then you realize, wait, they are killing my idea.
Uh-huh.
And if you don't put some type of structure and rules of engagement to the conversation, then ideas will die. Meetings will go all over the place. Innovation crumbles. And then you wonder why your team is not innovative enough or you can't get people to work on the same page.
Right. Exactly.
So this model that we're talking about, it's called the Z model. You either go to right or left. It's essential. You got to pepper it all over the place. Watch what happens when you do this. Watch what happens to your communication.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
It's amazing how well it works. All right. Hey, John, can I throw an idea at you?
Yes, you can.
Can we take a pause? Can we take a break?
Let's do it.
Yeah, because Dan, our
Good
producer,
idea.
is saying, execute that. Shut up, you guys. All right, you're listening to Talk 107.3 FM.
WBRP.
She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father...
Oh, man, Dan's telling me to talk, but I love that song. All right, I guess I'm going to have to start this part of the radio, the show. You are listening to Talk 107.3 FM.
WBRP.
Team Real World. Can you let that song go just a little longer?
And when your
Great song.
father turns to stone, will you take care of me?
All right. Great song. John, I just cannot emphasize enough how important this skill is. It is
incredibly important.
It is probably more effective than disc personalities.
I agree.
Because disc personality helps you to understand yourself and understand others. Okay, which is a phenomenal skill. All right. Then what disc does, it says, look, now you need to learn how to adjust.
Yep.
That's where this comes in.
Yep.
This is a very easy to use model, a very easy to use discipline. Rules of engagement, right?
Yep.
That everybody can agree on. And if everybody tries it, what happens is amazing. The different personalities come into check.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
whenever somebody tries to create or advance something, that usually speaks really well to the high D's and high I's.
Yep.
Okay? So the high S's and high C's have to join in, right? Even though it feels horrible. They're sitting there going, yeah, great idea. Although I know this idea is terrible. You know what I'm saying? But that's all right. You got to play along, okay? Everybody steps on first base, second base at the same time, right? And then the whole creating phase, you then go to the advancing phase. That speaks to, it validates to those two personalities. Then when you move over to refining, man, that just speaks to the high C's and the high S's, who are like, finally, we're going to get into the data. We're going to kill this thing, but everybody has to join. Okay,
right.
and then that's when you can then create a back and forth over the issues, but you've brought the team through the same basis, through the same phases, rather than what happens. Otherwise, what happens is one person throws an idea out, then a second person goes to advance, then the third person goes to refine, and you create this push and shove, and nobody's willing to listen to each other because I've already overcommitted my position.
Yep.
So there's not the professional courtesy of saying, okay, well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay?
The gridlock that comes out of it is stunning, and it happens in companies everywhere, every day. Somebody has an idea, they want to get started right away. They are afraid to even put it out on the table because they know somebody's going to try and kill it.
Yep.
They got a cheerleader in the room who, as soon as they're done cheerleading, they just want to hear the next idea so they can cheerlead that one.
Right.
The refiners never want to do anything. They constantly want to just keep aiming and never pull the trigger. And then the people who want to get up and go do something, they just look around and say, hey, as soon as you guys can come up with something you actually want to do, I'll go do it. Anytime you're ready.
And you can see it, John. Whenever we walk into meetings, the refiners always are quiet when the idea is being favored.
Yep.
Because they're waiting in the corner for that moment to kill it.
Yep.
And then the advancers, they're the ones pushing for the idea to go, woohoo, let's jump over to execute. Let's not let the refiners take it. And you can just see the positioning that takes place in the conference room, in the meeting, or in email. You can just smell it in email.
Yeah.
You can tell who the lurkers are, who aren't saying anything, who just wait to the day of the meeting or the decision or the day after only to say, I told you so.
That's right.
Oh, by the way, here's the report that y'all didn't look at. And it's like, why didn't you participate in the advancing phase when you could have brought some of this information? Well, because I didn't think it was going to survive anyway.
Nobody asked me.
Oh, I hate the game. I mean, thankfully, we don't ever do that at our company.
Well, Well, here's part of why this is so important, Maurice, is that when someone brings an idea, the person and the idea are very much bonded together. And so if you're criticizing the idea or you're criticizing the person at the front end of the process.
And that's a problem with people presenting it. There's a really good book out there called Why Don't You Want What I Want? And it speaks to that. That most of the time in which we present ideas, it's a two-light special. It's a Kmart two-light special, blue light special. You get the product and you get me. And you can't separate me from the idea, which is what you're talking about.
Right. So and I say this especially for those of us who are refiners, the reason it's worth going through that very painful statement, good idea, the reason it's important is because it separates the idea from the person. The person receives validation.
Yes. Well, the person who threw out the idea feels like you said, it feels like, okay, I'm been listened to. Right?
Exactly. Okay. So now the idea can be out on the table, diced, sliced, jammed, rammed, whatever you need to do to that idea, and it's not going to be offensive to the person who put the idea out there.
And to those of you that don't like to do this or don't have trust that this works, I would encourage you to trust this, that people who are driven by a creative approach, who like to advance, yes, most of the time they advance themselves while they're advancing the idea. But if you validate them, okay, they will be more willing to part with their idea because you validated them.
Absolutely. Absolutely the case.
I mean, I'll say it again. No, I'm just kidding. Okay? Validate. And how do you validate? One of the best ways, John, what's one of the best ways we practice?
Good idea.
Great. Man, that's a really good idea.
Good idea.
All right, so let me ask you what you're saying. What you're saying, you wanted to cover time management because it's one of the topics that we address the most.
That's right.
All right, I can see that. All right, so would you say that, I mean, we did time management a couple of weeks ago. You don't think that'll be too repetitive then, right? See, I'm giving him room to refine himself.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
No,
point.
hey, but listen, I'm not trying to kill it.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, but it is that what I just did with you was I was giving you, I was validating your idea.
Yep.
I was asking clarifying questions, even though it could have been a little bit challenging there. But it's still, I'm letting you make the decision.
Yeah.
Okay. But if it's done in a positive tone rather than a loaded tone,
right,
then it helps. See, here's the way it would sound loaded. Okay, I would say, okay, but John, why do you want to do time management again?
Yeah.
Okay, but listen, I mean, we did it 2 weeks ago. I mean, what are we going to say now?
Mm-hmm.
See, those are all loaded statements that come with judgment, not data, which we'll do another series on that later. But whenever you're trying to advance and you ask loaded questions, you're not really advancing. You're just kind of, what you simply did is you went and changed uniforms for the other team and came out of batting and hit one of your own team members.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not real That's not real validation.
Well, I'll even add to that. There's lots of refiners find themselves at the front line. Now, there's some that are managers and some that are executives too. So remember earlier when I said, see, people say no different ways. Some of them just say the word no.
Yes.
Some people say, I don't think this is a good idea, by being disengaged when it's time to implement.
Right.
And so if that refiner has not verbalized all that we're talking about, that refiner, I'm telling you, will kill the implementation.
That's how ideas die, John.
And it was a great idea. It could work perfectly, but their skepticism, which never was expressed in the meeting, is the very disengagement which now kills the execution.
And then the way we find out in companies is we do anonymous surveys, and it just comes out.
Oh, yeah.
It comes out. And the number one theme is we give our opinion, and they threw it in our face. We give our opinions, and so our opinions don't count here. And then the last time, and then they refer to some what happened 6 weeks ago, and it just demoralizes everybody. And what's worse, look, I mean, what's worse than demoralizing people? I mean, your turnover is going to go high, your innovation is going to go low. You know what is worse than that? You are the word on the street. Everyone will begin to realize that you have no appreciation for innovation.
Yeah.
And when a company ceases to innovate, go ask what's happening right now to Steve Jobs' former company.
Oh, yeah.
It is dying
Yeah.
in the tree of a withering tree of a lack of innovation.
That's right.
So we're finishing up this segment. We can't emphasize enough. I love that phrase. We can't emphasize enough. The role of a manager, the role of a leader, the role of a team leader is do what Steve Jobs says. Your role is to facilitate and foster discussions with your team members.
Right.
Always walking around talking about, promoting, defending the cause of ideas, innovation, and going from team to team, from people to people, from cubicle to cubicle, always fostering, hey, what new ideas do you guys have?
That's right.
What solutions do you have? What problems do you think we need to address? And then taking that moment when that person says, you know what? Thanks for asking me. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. And for that 7-8 minute glorious moment, you become a reporter to where all of a sudden, wow, my manager listens to me. And then those ideas get put on a docket and they get put into agendas and get put into meetings. Man, let me tell you, innovation flourishes unbelievably.
That's right.
That's the role of managers. What we do at Team Real World is we teach you how to do that.
Yeah, it really is.
But it's not just at the manager level that it stays. It's got to be promulgated.
Yes.
Because what happens when the manager is sick?
That's right.
Okay. Or kind of like Steve Jobs. What about when it's the manager's turn to start giving their ideas and they want to participate in the fight?
Right.
Okay. Who else is going to help to facilitate that meeting if the only person to really facilitate the meeting as well is that manager? This is a skill that increases professionalism.
Yes.
We encourage all of you to go to our website, download the documents on there, call us about it, talk to us, and, well, we're out of time. You know, we should talk about time management. We should. And pre-planning.
I told you it was going to turn out that way.
I know. Actually, this was a class on time management. No, everything in between was just to show you how not to do it. Listen, thank you guys very much for joining us in this journey.
Yes.
It has been a pleasure. We look forward to talking with you again. You have been listening to Team Real World on Talk 107.3 FM.
WBRP.
Over unannounced, dress